Alrighty, so I got the whole front diff apart here and all cleaned up. I changed some of the seals that need to be changed. The diff was leaking a little water, so mostly it was just a part to get the seals changed, and since it had some water in it, I wanted to take it all apart and make sure there's no damage. And actually, I'm proud to say, or I'm happy to say, that it doesn't look like there's any damage. Minor pitting on the spider gears, but that's about it. This diff is so much more complicated than it needs to be. So it's got a locking front diff. The lever goes in here. I'll show you in a second. A lot of people back in the day would call that the diff killer, because you'd lock it and it would blow the diffs up. One end part of the diff here, where the axle comes out. Another crappy thing about this diff, it's so much more complicated than like the Polaris diff setup. And the fact is, if you break a front axle or something and you need to pull it out, all your diff fluid pours out, and like your whole front diff gets contaminated, which is really a silly design. It's not a closed design like on a Polaris. But I mean, obviously this stuff has evolved over the years as people have gotten more extreme with the way they use their ATVs. There's a ton of pieces in here. We got the bearings in there. You got the roller bearing here, a pack of plates here, stacked metal plates, and then under here there's actually like a limited slip kind of friction material. This all goes down in here. Pull that off for a sec. I got assembly lube all on it. It's nice and tacky. It actually helps keep everything together, and it keeps it lubed. This ring has a bit to do with the diff lock here. Then you have your manual diff lock engagement pin that goes in here. When you engage it with the manual cable with the lever, it locks in there. And then it's weird because like it's got these balls aren't in the best shape, but whatever, fine. These all go in here, and then this part of the diff goes over top with a seal in between. That's that expensive seal. So these balls, they ride in these grooves on this part of the housing. It's like a 3-piece diff housing. And then the ring gear rides in here. So see, that housing goes on there onto those balls. I'm gonna look at the manual before I put it all back together 100% and torque it and put the seal in, but right now we'll test fit it. Feels like those balls have dropped into place. And then you have your ring gear here with the spiders inside. This is so much more complex than a Polaris diff. The complexity comes in more bearings and more moving parts. The more moving parts there is, the more prone to failure the component is, really. In off-road, you want to keep it as simple as you can usually. So in there we got our spider gears in there. So it's a set of spider gears. It looks really similar to like the rear diff on like a truck or something, but it's all in good shape. This guy rides in there. See all the grooves there? They gotta line up with the teeth here too. Bearing on here, that slides into there, presses into there. So that ring gear is in there now. That looks right. Bearing sounds and feels okay. Line up my pins. That whole assembly feels like it's rotating okay now. For lack of better terms, I'm gonna call this a stupid and overcomplicated design. So yeah, I'm gonna keep picking away at this and we'll slap her all together and give you an update in a bit. All right, we got the front diff together.